Hi Sean, this is my book flip, video flip, chat flip. Anyway, I'm going to do a thing about short stories. I'm just showing you some of the options I've got, and I will probably talk about this last couple of books. I just want to show you the difference. There are a lot of books here. This is not going to, I might read one of these, but I'm not going to talk about them. These are some of my classics, which might be useful, and I might take one of them into consideration. These are a couple of books which are non-fiction, which are also a possibility. And these are the ones I will definitely talk about and might read. But I'm not sure because you know me, I might change my mind. So let's start. So hello, my name is Alina. I'm from Rotterdam in the Netherlands, and I'm doing the camera flip video thing for Sean's sixth anniversary of YouTube. I'm going to do thing I did 2 years ago. I did a same kind of a video, and I did 6 continents, 6 books, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. Only this time it's going to be short books, which I think it's interesting because of Shorty September. Okay, so the first one is Oceania, which is Australia, New Zealand, the islands around it. And because it's also Straya September, which is a readathon about reading Australian books, I'm going to show you The Jaguar by Sarah Holland Bett, which is a poetry collection, and it won the Stella Prize in 2023. So a short story, a short book about poetry. So I think it's a great read, and I'm going to do this one for Australia. So the next continent is Asia, the biggest one with tons of countries you can choose from. I'm going to do Korea, and I'm doing Concerning My Daughter by Kim Ye Ying, translated by Jamie Chan, and it's a book about mothers and daughters, queers, living together, how do you get along, and stuff like that. And haven't read it, so have no idea if I'm going to like it, but it's a short book. It's about, let's say, 165 pages. So translated literature. A lot of them are translated literature, by the way. Next stop is Europe. Again, tons of countries, but I seem to be choosing Spain. This time I'm choosing a Catalan writer, Irene Sola. When I Sing, Mountains Dance. This is of course translated, and it's translated by I wrote it down, by Mara Faye Latham, and it's about, I don't know, nature and the way it reacts to people, or people react to nature, and living in the mountains around in Catalonia, I think. I don't know. I've heard it's beautiful written, so I'm going to give it a try and see what it is about. Okay, so next is Africa, and this one is So Distant from My Life by Monique Ilbudo, translated by Yari Kamara, and it's a book about from a Burkina Faso writer, and it's about, I think, about migration and living and crossing the Sahara. I'm reading this very fast from the blurb on the back, and it's just, I don't know, it's a different kind of country I have never read anything about, and I'm interested in reading about Burkina Faso. So this one is also very short. It's about not even 100, and I think about 120 pages or something like that. So translated fiction and short. Now we're going across the ocean, and we're going to the Americas, doing North America first, choosing a book from Canada, All the Shining People by Catherine Katie Friedman. I'm sorry, Katie Friedman. She's a Canadian, and she writes about the Jewish South African community in Toronto. These are short stories about that community and the way they found a place, I suppose, in Toronto or in Canada. And I'm very curious about this community and the way it's portrayed in these stories. So, all the shining people from Canada. The last one is the only one I've got, which I've got in Spanish, and I'm going to read it in Spanish. It's La Azotea by Fernanda Trias. It has been translated, and it's called The Rooftop, and it's translated by Annie McDermott. Fernanda Trias is from Uruguay, and this is about, I've got no idea what's about, but I think it's about growing about a daughter and her father living somewhere on a rooftop of a building, and the way life goes on. I mean, I'm not even sure what it's about. I just like reading books from South America. I like reading them in Spanish. So this one is going to be the one I read for Uruguay this year. So this one is interesting. Those are the 6 books I'm reading. I'm showing you for the 6 continents, 6 books things. So as I said, The Jaguar by Sarah Holland Batt, Australia. Concerning My Daughter by Kim Yi Yin from Korea. When I Sing, Mountains Dance by Irene Sola from Spain, Europe. Excuse me. So Distant From My Life by Monique Ilbudo from Burkina Faso, Africa. All the Shining People by Katie Friedman from Canada, North America. La Azotea, or The Rooftop by Fernanda Trias from Uruguay, so South America. Those are the 6 books I'm really definitely going to talk about. I'm also going to show you some classics, which are short and might be interesting. I've got 2 James Baldwin, Giovanni's Room, which is definitely an old book too, because it's getting, and it's really one of the old ones I've got in my home. The other one is If Beale Street Could Talk, also a classic. I have never read this one. I think I read Giovanni's Room years and years ago. Swamp Angel by Ethel Wilson, which is a Canadian novel, and I got this one from Sean, so maybe I will read this one, Sean. Sam Selvin, The Lonely Londoners, which is a British book about the white, anyway, about the immigration of Caribbean people to the UK just after the World War II. So this one. The Waiting Years by Fumiko Enchi, which is Enchi, which is a Japanese classic, and it's one of those that have been on my to read, and I never get to it, so I might get to it this time. Edith Wharton, Summer, an American classic, short one. I've never read this one from Edith Wharton. I've read other things from Edith Wharton, but not this one. So short book. So maybe this one will do. And E.M. Forster, another classic, this is a British writer. I think this was his first book, Where Angels Fear to Tread. And I think this one was his first book, and it's quite short. Never read this one either. So those are a couple of classics for you. And then I have a couple of non-fiction, which I'm going to start with. But Is It Art by Cynthia Friedland, which is a couple of essays about art and the art business and the art dealing and stuff like that. Very interesting. An Exclusive Love, a memoir by Johanna Adorjan, which is a translated book from the Germans. It's translated by Antia Bell, and it's about a memoir about her grandparents, if I'm not mistaken. This one is also an old book, A Woman in the Polar Night by Christiana Ritter. She was Australian. No, excuse me, she was from Austria. And she wrote this book somewhere in the 30s, and she moved from with her husband to live for a couple of years, I think, in the Arctic world. I don't know why, I'm not sure, but I find that very interesting. So, and I've got this one, Howard Ends is on the Landing by Susan Hale, which is a book about books, and her books, and the books she has, and the books she has not read, and the books she didn't even remember she had them, which reminds me of myself. And a very interesting book. That's about it. I've tried to make it short and simple. Have a great day. Happy anniversary, Sean. Let's see if we see and talk to each other soon. And I'm Alina, and I'm saying goodbye from Rotterdam. It's hot here, which is not usual, the norm in September, but it's really hot. So let's see. Well, bye.